Hi there, it's Mourad here. It's the 30th of October and time for a bit of stable news again from our runners over the past month. We had a couple of winners, Demon Flyer and BBT. They both were first up off spells and they both won pretty good. So kick off things with Demon Flyer, who's trained by Michael Costa. He won first up at Wyong over 1100 metres. It was a very gutsy win, aided by a good ride from Rachel Murray. Horse jumped and went straight to the front as he usually does, and he was definitely headed in the straight, and he just fought on strong to kick back and win. So he's done very well there first up. He did trial well leading into that first up race, so didn't come as a surprise. He's starting to build a handy record for Michael Costa. That was his third win, and he's had a second from 5 starts with Michael. So he's going well, he's come through that race well, and next race for him is at Hawkesbury on the 5th of November, over 1100 metres again, so he should do well there. BBT for Mick Price. Also had a couple of good jump outs leading into his first up race, which was at Cranbourne, over 1000 metres. Jump from barrier 1, which certainly helped, just makes things a little bit easier when they jump well and settle in a good position. So Craig knew it, did what he had to do from the barrier to give him a cosy ride, and he did well to win, carrying 59.5 kilos. He was very unlucky in his latest start at Moonee Valley in one of the 955 metre Jeep Challenge races. Settled in a midfield position, coming around the home turn. He was starting to make some good ground and just copped a squeeze at the vital point, probably around the 100 metre mark, but between the initial winner and the second or third place getter. So he's only beaten a couple of lengths, should have finished right in amongst that first group of 4 there. So just a bit unlucky there, but it was a great effort nonetheless. So next start for him will be at Morfettville on the 7th of November over 1200 metres. So probably expect the class to be a lot easier than that race, and he's going well, he's come through the run well, so expect him to be very competitive there. Secret Agenda, also trained by Mick Price. She continues to race very well and be extremely competitive. She ran another good second in another Group 3 called the Thoroughbred Club Stakes over 1200 metres at Caulfield. That was on the 10th of October. So basically she was pretty unlucky. She was beaten by the barrier, as I say. She drew wide and she raced 3 wide the entire race. And just had to do a lot of work there. So she finished second, wasn't beaten about a length or so, and basically if she drew a nice gate she could probably win that race. So she's going well, heading forward. She's going into another Group 3 for 3-year-old fillies called the Gucci Stakes over 1100 metres, and that's at Flemington on the 5th of November. Down the straight, I think it'll suit her. It'll be her first go down the straight, but she has trialled down a back straight, which looked pretty good, so she gets the right run. She's probably going to be hard to beat. Star appearance for Gerald Ryan. He's had a couple of runs since his good win at Newcastle. Couple of starts back at Kembla Grange, he put his head down in the gates just as they've opened at a vital point, and he missed the start by about 4 or 5 lengths. He chased hard the entire race and he finished off really strong to finish 5th, beaten 3 lengths. So it was a big effort from him. Had he have jumped, he probably wins or comes close to winning. So that was a good result, or not a good result. It was a good effort from the horse after a bad start. He raced last Wednesday at Canterbury over a mile or 1580. He did well again. He ran 5th. It was a brave run. He was only beaten 3 lengths. He did have to work a little bit early. He jumped so well, and a few of them also jumped well inside of him, and it just kept him posted out wide, especially at the 1580 there at Canterbury. That first turn comes up pretty quickly, so he did have to do a little bit of work to go forward and get into a handy spot. and it just paid its toll in the last 150 metres. He's only beaten less than a length off second place, so here's another one that had he have had a softer ride, he probably finishes second there. So horse looks enormous, you know, seems to have raced well, and Gerald will have a look at him and decide if he's had enough this preparation or if he'll have one more. So we're not too sure what's happening with him just yet. Madame Zabil for John and Chris Ledger. She hasn't had a lot of luck this preparation, and that bad run of bad luck continued again in her latest start, where she drew wide and had to race wide once again. Probably performed worse than we would have expected, but as it turns out, she's looked to have a throat issue there that seems to possibly have been plaguing her this whole preparation. So she's due to have surgery next week, and she'll be out on the sidelines for 3 months to recover. You know, she's shown enough there to suggest she can win races, but her throat will need to be operated on so she can breathe right in order for her to perform to her best. So fingers crossed for a good recovery, and we'll see her racing again next year. She brings class for Michael Costa. She raced yesterday at Wyong over 1200 metres. She jumped fairly and she was scrubbed along to get in a forward position. Probably not the ideal way to ride her, in my opinion. Yeah, she does normally race forward, but she didn't seem to jump and be there, so I probably would have preferred to see her just settle where she kind of landed in a comfortable position. But she was scrubbed up, and they went very fast, and she was off the bridle the whole race, and so it just didn't suit her, and she couldn't finish off. So it was a disappointing result, but Michael will see how she comes through the race. She has had some joint issues in the past. He'll see if that's anything to add to the disappointing run, but I think she felt okay in the race from the reports from the jockey, so fingers crossed there's nothing too sinister there, and she can bounce back. Rosetta's Way for Gerald Ryan finished off his preparation with a solid third at Wyong, over 1350 metres. That was on the 17th of October, the same day that Demon Flyer won just a race after hers. She settled in a midfield position, and she hit the line very well, harder than any other runner in the race, and she was only beaten by just over a length. So Wyong probably wasn't the most suitable track for her. She's still learning her trade. She takes a little bit of time to find her feet and balance up before she lets down. So the short straight there, tight track, probably wasn't ideal. But she did well. She's earned herself a holiday and goes out on a good note, which is always a positive. So you know, she'll benefit from the break. She's a filly that has improved each preparation, and I believe she's going to come back bigger and stronger and improve again. So looking forward to seeing her come back after a 6-week spell. Black Revolver, now transferred to Michael Costa, was previously trained by Chris Waller. Been very disappointing of late, and was very disappointing in his last start, this preparation. He's a horse that has plenty of ability, but just hasn't really been putting in 100% to get the results. So Michael Costa, we've given the horse to him just because he's got a little bit more time to really delve right into the horses and see if there is any underlying issues that may be there. So Michael believes he's found 1 or 2 minor tweaks that he can work with and improve Black Revolver on. So fingers crossed he can get the job done and turn him around like he has done for a couple of our other horses, being Denman Flyer and She Brings Class. So yeah, look, we're hoping that Michael can do the trick and we can see Black Revolver get back to his best, which we know he's very capable of winning plenty more races. And last horse to mention is C Sharp, trained by Tim Martin. He had his first ever trial earlier this week on the 27th of October at Rose Hill. over 900 metres. He finished 5th in a field of 6. He was only beaten just a length behind the winner, so it was a really good first trial for him. He jumped okay, he settled at the rear of the field, and he travelled around them around the corner, and he was hitting the line very strong under a good hold. So it was a great trial. He did a little bit wrong. His action still got plenty of refining to do. He's still learning his trade. Christian Reith rode him and just said he gave him a good feel. He's still learning. He'll improve a lot, and he thinks there might be something there. So it was a really good first trial. He'll learn from the experience, and he'll trial again over the coming weeks before we look at having a race for him shortly afterwards. So it looks promising for the owners in C Sharp. So that's it with all of the runners over the past month and going forward. So we'll move on to my tip of the month. Last month's tip, being Capitalist into Calliope, got up, and although they were paying short odds, it did kickstart off a good day's racing, where in fact actually 8 of the 9 favourites saluted at Randwick that day. So I'm sure plenty of you picked plenty of winners there, so a nice good day there, but probably not so good for the bookies. For my tip this month, I guess I've got to go towards the big race, the Melbourne Cup, of course, the race that stops the nation. And I'm going to go with a horse that I thought ran a really good race in the Caulfield Cup. He finished second. His name is Trip to Paris. I thought he finished off very strong, and I've had a look a bit of his form. He's won over the distance and even further. So he should have no problem staying the trip. He's probably won over that distance and further in a lower grade, but his form in the Caulfield Cup should suggest he's up to the task and up to the grade. So look, I wouldn't be spending your life savings on it. I don't have a great track record with tipping Melbourne Cup winners, but I'm a little bit more confident with him this year. So also, I'd suggest having something on Secret Agenda and the Gucci Stakes on Oaks Day. That's the 5th of November, which is actually my birthday. So could be a good birthday present for me if she can get up. She's a very good filly, and with a good run she should be right in the finish. So good luck to everyone. Have a great weekend and happy punting, and I'll see you next month. Bye.